Well, hello everyone and welcome back. Um, been working on elongating these windows. All the big ones in this ring are done, and I got this section here done. Just got to do these right here, and I'm leaving these guys blacked out. I noticed there's wasn't a whole lot of windows in the bottoms ever really lit, but so I figured I'd at least leave those out because they're really close together right there, and these middle ones, and we should have some blackened out. But it's coming along good. Just developing techniques and went through a couple of bits, but I think I have something that's working, especially on these smaller ones in these little recessed coves, and make it still look close to what the photo etch thing does. I'm really interested since I do have a 3D printed one for that came with the whole Enterprise D um, upgrades, where I got this from ModelWorks. So you can actually print a whole new back neck piece. I'm going to see about the phaser arrays, see if the 3D prints look nice. I know he mentioned something they might be a little more forward, but I think they might be easier to get to look nice than the photo etch. I might try. I might try the photo etch, and if it's being a pain, then we'll grind these higher humps off and try the 3D printed parts. I think that might be the way to go because it's just glue them down. I can, I'll print it before we do a base coat on this, and I'm going to do the saucer in sections. That way I don't have to worry about having the shuttle bay in and don't have to worry about taping it off except for just when we're doing um, clear coats, I guess. Which there I can just stick in a little bit of cotton or something. But yeah, so what I've been doing, if I can remember where I put the drill, there it is. Like I said, I had pre-drilled some smaller ones, but I'm stepping up one more step because this is the strongest little bit I have. So then I'm just going right back into and actually the light being like this helps. Just going back into the old holes and widen them. See how this drill bit just pulls itself right in. It's great. Then widen these to this gauge. Gives me less resistance when I try to ream it. Actually, I'm going to drill all the little holes out first. And that's the same thing I did with the big ones. I drilled a bunch of holes and then went back and just reamed them out. It was just easier to keep one thing at a time, drill the holes first and then ream them. And like I said, I was using this bit even to drill those holes, but I used one of those thicker bits like I showed you here to actually ream them. And I did have a few of those break, but I have a whole bag I bought of different size bits like that. And they're a little stronger, but once they bend, but the nice thing is when they broke, they would break long enough that I could actually stick the broken part in the bit and use it again. But for these little ones, I decided to go with this because, like I said, I think the blue is what I drilled it with, and this one here is what fit out of the other style bit, but it was just breaking right away. And this one, and mainly because it just doesn't have enough side tooth, so it's like you're trying to ream and there's no real spiral to actually dig like a router bit, where this one's got a lot of spirals, so it's been working nice. So then I just go in the bottom hole and then I just start with my thumb. That's why I have it taped so I can press against the chuck. I'm just been slowly pushing up, and there it goes. So one hole, and the next hole. into the last one. And that one was a bigger step. And then I kind of pull it out, and then I start back down the bottom and try to get rid of all the gunk. And just go back and forth like that. Right there. And I don't know if you're going to be able to see it. Maybe I can zoom in, get the light up a little higher. And there you can see. And it's been working pretty good, as you can see on these bigger ones. And I think if I go back with this orange one here, it'll clean these, where you can still kind of see where the little hole were that I actually had to drill it before reaming it out. And here's the other ones that are done while we're zoomed up. This is the side I got to do. Yeah. But see if I can get to the side. Yeah, there they are. And they're looking quite close to what the photo etch is. And I know I got a little bit of a light leak in this corner. So I'm going to have to hit some tulip, probably on the inside. And I made sure everything was taped out of window way. Now here I'm going to have to start getting concerned because we're getting down where I taped these. So, but so far I missed everything. And here we're pretty much in the clear because I made sure that was out of the way when I hot glued it. So I'm going to continue, and we'll be back when we finish the top. All right, coming along with the window holes. These came out really nice. Those took a while because I had to use this really tiny bit. Actually ream them out. But all in all, it came out pretty good. I think I went back, yeah, I did go back with this. Yeah, it fits in there. To kind of widen them a little bit, but this, again, like I said, the spirals on here are not drastic enough to really give me the push, especially at that small size. The bigger ones I can give a push. For like these windows, I can definitely give a push. But for these little ones up top, and I actually went and got brave enough to even get those ones on the curve here. These I had no problem because they were spaced a little better, but these were really close together. And so we got those there, so that's nice. Right now what I'm doing is we got to get this arboretum windows in. I think that's what that is, this area. I'm going to make a bluish tint back here. I'll probably, whatever window material I put in here, I'll mix a little hint of blue just to give it a little different color. Kind of like the arboretum is on the refit. But yeah, I took the little photo etch window and just stuck it down there. Don't give you much of a rim. I wish they gave you a little more of a rim. They want you to file it. I don't think they want you to cut it out. Yeah, they just pretty much show file. And one thing I do have to say is they need to be a little bit better with, like, okay, it goes here. They're very, one thing about these instructions is that the arrows where things go. Some things they'll highlight where it's going, you know? But sometimes, like, oh, there, and they put a little dotted square where that square piece of photo etch will go down. That I like. That's a good idea. They need to, I think they need to just bring it a little more, you know, in all of them. The other one I had an issue with is these little bars here in the back of the neck. They highlighted in that weird green this whole area, but really it just goes in those little spots. But here you don't even have like a sense for the other one side of where it sits. But if they, you know, there's a little square, number 50. I think it's really tiny, yeah. But I don't know exactly where that goes because all they do is kind of have an arrow pointing. I don't know. Could it be on this edge? I'm going to just probably stick it right there. They don't even show the single window. Well, yeah, there's the single. I don't know if it's up here. There's the double. Is it in this line here? That's what it's looking like. Maybe above. I don't know if it's above this double, which I have blacked out. I didn't drill that double. I don't know if I can zoom in. Here we have a single, and here we have a double. Here's another double, and that's what they're. Here's the single and the double on the instructions. They kind of show it right there. So there's that double. So I'm wondering if it just goes right here. And it's small enough that would work there. So that's, I guess that's where I'm going to try putting it. There's nothing on the other side, just the one. But yeah, so basically what I found by laying one of these down on the molded window, the molded window is a little bigger. But the photo etch covers it all. So you're kind of like, and since this has got a very thin spot for this to sit on, what I've been doing, it will sit basically like this, which will basically sit like that. And I filed out all the plastic so there's just enough plastic to catch that outside frame. So, and then we'll do the same here. But what I had to do is just actually cut. I used my Dremel tool. There's this little saw blade like thing, and I just came in here and just cut from the top and the bottom, but didn't get rid of the full window. Especially when you come to the sides, I left those side windows there, and then I'm slowly filing them to open to where it works. But another thing, I think I'm going to skip on the photo etch. Maybe I'll save it for the separated one, because I'll have two sets of these. Or maybe I can, I don't know, the Voyager is quite different. The arcs and stuff. I was like, maybe I could use it on the Voyager. But maybe I'll use one of these sets. I don't know. Maybe try it on the other one. But yeah, the upgrade kit came with phaser strips, 3D printed. I tried doing them on the filament printer. Well, I didn't put a brim on it, so you started getting edges that wanted to kind of come up on one. And I just didn't like the detail. So I just resin printed it. It's fairly fast anyway. Is this for this ship? Yeah, this is actually for up here. But he also, the files are, there's a curve on the underneath, so it snaps right over top of this rim, so I don't even have to go and file this off. I might have to trim a little bit. It's hard to tell until I really start gluing it down and moving it, because everything with resin or anything, it's going to move. But that's locked on there. So that's great. So I don't even have to spend the time grinding this off. This gives me the locations. And it's nice. It's in parts like, so here's that center grid. That's where that starts. And then it comes to this grid. So it's in 4 pieces. And then there'll be another piece here. That'll be an end piece. So I don't know if this is it. No, that's too sharp of a, that's a, yeah, so is that one, I think. Yep, those are bottoms. This maybe? It'll be this side. Yeah, you got this one here. And then it's that one. I don't think you can do this way. Yeah, they have a curve to them. So that's definitely there. But you got it, it's nice. Even this one pretty much matches up with that grid. A hair short. I think I'm gonna have a little bit of gap there. I'll have to putty. But yeah, these are gonna be nice. So I printed a whole set. It even has the small ones. that go all over the ship. One thing I noticed it didn't have is for the battle bridge. So even if I print a set for all three of these, I'll have to see if I can make one work for the battle bridge. Yeah, because that's got a... And I don't think it gives you one. But is there one that we can kind of work with? That one's not bad. Huh. Does a photo etch give you one for the battle bridge? That's a question too. I don't think it's going to be that one. It's short. The only short ones are the underbelly of the ship towards the deflector ray, and I think that's that one. That might be the battle bridge right there. Yep. So I can always photo etch this one. But yeah, I think we can show you kind of what I was doing. Kind of like going off the side here, but oh no, that's just a final. I was just taking this, just slightly going across. And like I said, the top row I'm just taking off the windows, and then I'm leaving these and a row of end ones, and then filing them to fit the photo etch. We can get rid of this here. You gotta be careful. This bit will grab like any circular kind of saw. Try to run it as slow as possible, but without it bogging out. And then ride really close to the bottom rim. Pretty much, if I'm sinking this whole thing, the whole width of this blade is pretty much working. And then what I did is just came in here, my blade, get rid of this extra on the sides. And the sides being a little more stubborn. There we go. Pull my blade out. There we go. Cut that chunk out. Come in here and cutting a little more so it's a little easier for the file. The other thing about that, sometimes it'll cut through things at an angle that you can't really get flat. There, it just gives us a head start. And now it's just coming off the edge. Doing that, but we're a little wide, but we need to get wider. But this file actually is a little narrow here and gets wider up here, so you can kind of just stick it through. I can actually widen this a little more. Be careful on the bottom. The bottom, I think we're just at the where we want to be. time for a new set. I've had those for a long time. There's that piece of photo etch. I should be able to use, I only cut one of them out, so I should be able to use this one, just flip it over. And you can kind of tell by the curve of the photo etch too. On the top and the bottom, the way it molded, because I think these are lifeboat areas probably. Oh, we're pretty close. Nice. Especially top and bottom. It's more of just getting rid of that side because I can no, we'll get rid of some of that too. I want to make sure I hit all the corners because one edge of this has teeth and the other doesn't. And that's great because sometimes you want to be up against something and file down, but you don't want this edge to dig into there. And then there's sometimes you want. So that's kind of neat. I like one thing I like about these files. It has. What did I do with that photo etch? I know I'm so going to lose this little piece. Usually the first one takes a bit because you're learning. And you're being a little more careful. Problem is, photo etch, when it's this small, it wants to stick to your fingers. You can't like just sit it down and lift up. Wow, I'm almost happy with that. I mean, just a little across the top. Maybe a little piece in the bottom, but that might just be, yeah. It's usually in the corners. Yeah, I think we'll just clear off the top and that's it, and we'll glue them down. That way we can get the paint in, and then later on, once all that's done, I can put a piece of tape over here if I decide to use regular window maker, and then from here just square it through. The tape will stop it from going through, or I can just use solar res. That would work too. All right, I think we're good. We're gonna get rid of it. Angle these cuts. Hide the thickness of the plastic. Now hopefully these will get that light. I think they will. Enough. I don't want the arboretum. I don't think the arboretum would be extremely bright. It's kind of a rec area, you know, like a relaxing area. Let's throw you back on here and look. Like I gotta get it right, and then when I hear that thing vibrate, it vibrates my tools. It sounds like the Predator. Might clean a little. There's a little round corner there. All in all, good. Yeah, and I can see it here. There we go. Yeah, I like that. But there we go. We'll just glue that down. Okay, we got that one in. We're going to do the same with this one. Should be cutting this over something hard. I need to get a little piece of tile. Just need a little 4x4 tile. Just something semi-hard cut photo etch on. That way you don't bend it out of shape, cutting into cutting boards. And I do have this. This is an awesome little tool. Sometimes I'll cut it on here, but it's starting to mark it all up, so I'm trying not to. That bendy tool came in handy for all the stuff on the Star Destroyer. Now let's get rid of these burrs. I like to use the small sanding drum, not as aggressive, with a fine paper on it. And you always kind of want to go with the wheel going out, because if it's coming this way, you can grab this corner and bend it. There we go. And alright, so sit you there so it's easy to grab. More glue. And we're just kind of coming up and gluing the edges here. Get burr out of there. What I'm doing is putting a little glue on tape, just a dab, because we don't need a lot of glue. At least not to start. Alright, I think we can get it set down now. Hey, I like that. Side to go up a little more, yeah. Well, I'm going to take the toothpick, the super glue that's on the outside, push it up. I should give myself more. I got, like this one, I went around the outer edge. Slightly. Going around the outer edge, this way I know. And we can do the same thing on the inside too. We're squishing some glue around in that seam. And it's causing a bond like that. And I can just take my finger and wipe some of the excess off. And then we'll come by and just scuff it later. There we go. Hey, now we have those windows on, which now we'll have a very nice Hiberium glowing, hopefully. That light that's right here, which I think it will. It's like I said, it's hard because this inside's going to sit. And you see how close. We're really going to see how close it all is now. But as you can see, it's right. Those are right on this. I see what's catching. Really? Easy on my wires here. Yeah, it's right on this. I don't think I can file any more of that. Any of that down. Well, probably could, because really, this isn't one that's coming off. This is going to be permanently, on there, the saucer. I could probably could grind a little bit of that out there. Probably could grind that whole thing a little bit. I don't know if I'd take it off, because then you lose this location snapper. I'm wondering if I give it, how thick is that plastic? Not a whole lot thick. And I can even go a little heavier on this edge. Like, I'm probably almost take it away. almost probably take all that away. Like just file it till, and then it would disappear. I mean, you're still gonna have a bridge popping up. I think that's not really gonna make a whole lot of difference. I'll have to see, but I think I could probably file a little bit more because yeah, that's sitting there. It's sitting. The windows are sitting right across those. But that's why I'm going to tint those windows blue as well, so you can't see that. Well, hello. Started tweaking around with the drive section. I found out that Paragraphics actually will sell just these. Used to be old Don's Light Magic or something like that. So I can put these trench covers, conduit covers on all three ships. So while I'm waiting for the ones that I ordered that are just these to come in, I'll just take this set. I'll use that on the Enterprise that's going to be saucer separated. But that way I can use these on this kit since I'm pretty much using all that photo etch kit on here anyway. So I went through and sanded some of the putty down, and I'm just making them fit. Now these are definitely something you want to put on before you glue these down, but I already have those glued down because otherwise you can, once this goes up, as you can see, maybe see here, I'm going to have a little too much photo etch, but if you do this before you put your nacelles on, it'll actually slide right over top of that little thin piece. But so that one I take down in March. I was a little worried because I was going to putty these and not put a cover. I kind of went with the detail on the edge, on this edge here, to kind of hide my putty seam in that detail. I was a little worried if these would even cover, but they do. As you can see there, that one covers that one just fine. So this is great. Because I do like the raised detail look of these trenches like this. That's what I did on this side. Just kind of line up where I want it to be. And I was just flopping it down like this. And it actually springs in there and kind of stays. Yeah, and that one's covering all that up really nice. Yeah, I'm happy with that. So now I can go and put a little tape there so that don't pop out of. It's right now getting smushed into there. But that keeps me nice and square. We want to keep it from moving so I can get an accurate, because I'm going to have to trim mine. The more accurate I get my trim, I cut them, better. And I'll cut them a hair bigger because I think I can get it in there a little bit. Don't want too much pressure because we don't want it pushing and wanting it to bow it up. So that should work. All right, let's see how that worked. How beautiful. Beautiful. Look back and make sure we did it correctly. Works for me too. That's great. So sweet. Yeah, I was just watching on I don't remember. I was watching something on YouTube, and someone was saying that they got these just that they Paragraphics sells these just separate instead of with the whole sheet. You know, it came with this whole sheet. Well, these are also green strawberries, so Paragraphics does sell this, and I think they bought out some of Don Light and Magic's stuff, so he must have had them made way back in the day, designed up so. Now we can have all our trenches covered like that. And like I said, I do like how that gives it a little raised detail. Everybody I've seen that uses them, even on the Helios 650, where they got the trench covers. I just like that detail, how it sits up. So I'm going to get these epoxy down and call it a night. All right. I have a little piece of blue tape here. I think I'm going to put the epoxy on here and do exactly the way like I was. Oh, we got to look, see how much. It's going to want to. Maybe I should put it down on the trench because I gotta have this slide. And, yeah, no, change my mind on that. If I stay in that zone, we'll be good. But we'll make sure you hit our edges because that's the sides that are gonna want to lift up and don't want any gapping. Don't want any gapping on the edges of this thing. All right, let's give this one a try. Trying to do it where you guys can see. Let's get that tape right there, right now. We're gonna have some oozing out, which is okay. I'm just epoxy. I can clean up a lot of the excess before it cures. That's what I'm trying to do here. Get a little clamp in there. I use one of these little guys, or do I use one of the cheap dollar store ones? That'll work perfect. One of those there. Oh, I'm liking that. There we go. We just got to do the same on the other side. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm trying to make sure it gets spread around, especially up here, because that's where I see where people, if they do have trouble with this photo etch, getting it tight, is like in this area and right where it curves up. A lot of times, I think the one gentleman was having issues because of putting the nacelle down, caused it to pop up when you're trying to slide it over top of them. And for safety measures, let's put this here so we don't get movement. I'm liking that position. We just need to get everything. You know what? I think, well, we got to get rid of the excess first. Let's wipe away any of the excess so it doesn't goon up our rest of our detail. Lock there. This one I'm wondering if I should seeing a little issue where it is popping up in that one corner. Or if I clamp there and then push down, it'll give me the same effect where it'll keep it down in that curve yet tight up here. My biggest concern, this side's doing fine. If I can get a clamp, one of these bigger ones in from this way. Nope. One of these little ones maybe in here. I'll do this. That. And put you right there. That's actually a good idea. And that did the trick. Maybe we'll do that here too. There we go. And we can get rid of this tape. I'll let that set overnight. All right. These power conduit trench covers came out great. Really like them. It's going to make all three ships look so much better. And like I said, I do like that raised detail. So they went down really, really nice. Thought it was going to be a bigger fight, but they're so thin. I don't know if paragraphics are going to be as thin, but these were nice and thin, but stiff enough that you can work with it fairly easy. So I went through and cleaned up the trench I dug for these back nav lights. And then you could see a little bit of the fiber optic, so I just hit some black over that. And like I said, I was never really too worried about the phaser banks that are back here because we're going to replace them. Got the two up top here. I was going to use the photo etch, which is actually very nice. But I don't know how much I feel like dealing with trying to curve them, especially when they're already on a curve like this. And then when you get to these end ones that round off, you got to kind of, make that a circular thing. And I wasn't sure how well that was actually going to work. Especially when they have you, when you're going to bend things, they'll put a little, a seam back here to help it arc over a little bit. Kind of like right there, there's a trench. They put, they etch out a trench there because that probably folds. But when I went and ordered, like I said, I ordered this bridge from ModelWorks and printed it. It wasn't just a bridge. I keep calling this a bridge, a shuttle bay. I think because it's right in the center of the saucer, at least this part, so it feels like a bridge, but it's not. It's really a shuttle bay. The greatest thing about, I just really at first wanted the shuttle bay, but it comes with all kinds of things. It comes with new Bassard collector replacements. It gives you this whole back of this neck. I don't know how that would work with putting it together with the other pieces here, but it gives you this whole back, and you can have it with open windows or without open windows. And I forget what else they give you. I know they give you two different versions of the Bassards. Ones you can stick light bulbs in, and the other one, I don't know what's the massive difference. Not going to do that using the kit supplied, so didn't really get too focused. Plus, then it gave you all these phaser banks prints. So these are the phaser bank prints, and they're real nice. And the nice thing is, they made them scooped so that they'll fit over the raised part from the kit. One thing I did notice is it doesn't give you the one for here, which in most cases, if you're not going to have the saucer separated, would be fine. And it probably came to an issue of if you would have put this here, they're higher. This is what I'm thinking their thoughts were. You wouldn't be able to put that saucer back on if you wanted to be able to take it on and off, which you'd only probably be able to do so many times because this little peg that goes in there that snaps them kind of together would eventually wear out. But they should at least give you the option to have that piece in case you're going to keep them apart, like on my third one will be. But this one and one of the Enterprise Ds is going to be fully together, so that's not going to matter. So I don't know if I can modify a top one to do that. It's a tight arc, so it might have to be the bottom one. Yeah, because I do not see it anywhere in here. I could be wrong, but it would have both round ends and only be that length. And the only thing I have that has both round lengths and short is this. And that goes in the bottom of the belly of the ship, which we're going to have to bend. It actually has a slight bow this way. We need to actually bend it this way. I would flip the ship over, but I got these guys still cured. So we might actually have to take like something like this. This might have the arc. Yeah. That's really close. Wonder if we could even. Yeah, we could do something like that. It's a tough one because it also does this. Not only does it do this and curve this way, these ends go off at a different angle. So yeah, we'd have to do something like that and then cut off an end to make another curved end here or something. Or I'll try on that ship that I do have that way. I'll just grab the photo etch one and put it there. See if I can get that to match. Not a biggie. The saucer separated one's going to be kind of a. We can even do damage on the Enterprise, like the Borg has hit it. Like the very first time Q sends them there and they meet, actually the Borg cut a hole right in the saucer and take a piece out. But are these curing? Oh, they're cured. Yeah, that one there, it's got to go here. And then we got these four here. And then it's just doing a couple puttying. I started puttying these and slightly sanding. We'll fix that up a lot better here. I actually got to sand that part. We got to fix the seams here. I'll probably do some putty in this seam, especially in the notches here. What else we got? Oh, and where the neck meets the secondary hull, especially where we added this photo etch piece. There's some openings there. That's just the way they fit together. Yeah, so we got to get these joints looking nice. And then get in here and fill these in and light block it. I might try putty at first, perfect plastic putty, and go in there with a wet Q-tip and get it nice and level, and then hit it maybe with some tulip. Get all that to blend in. And then I do not want to forget that we're going to drill a little hole right here somewhere abouts. I'll look on a picture to get a better spacing. I'm going to say it's probably going to be right about there, right in front of that detail, to give us that one little light that you see on the bottom of the ship about there. And it's a steady on, so I think we can get that with just a fiber optic. But let's now that these guys are on there, and they look really good. They're down pretty tight. A little bit of a gap right there, but we can fill anything that's gappy with a little bit of putty. So I already sanded the bottom of these because the way I supported it, I tried to keep all my supports down here on the bottoms, so I had them kind of like that. So these are already sanded. We just need some. And that dried already. We just need some epoxy. Don't matter which one we start with. I'm trying to keep the epoxy right on the tops of these bumps, but you almost think the concave that they gave you is a little deeper. So I kind of swirl it around so it catches without overly squishing out the sides. I just kind of do a little. And there we go. And they're going to look nice. And I figure I'd put these on now because we can get a good glue bond. And then we can mask them off when it comes to putting our. We'll just blast right over them doing the hull color, and then I'll come back and we'll mask them off and paint them later. I always want to clamp these, but then it's hard to see if they move or shift. And I guess we could try that. There we go. We got a good squish. All right, we'll let that sit. Okay, sorry it's so loud. I'm keeping heat on this resin piece. Trying to. I soaked it in hot water, but I pulled it out to see if I can actually blend it. It looks like I can, but it's going to be a quick get on here and really? I never had it like string like that before. Not like that. A lot of this is just water. But we got to get some of this down. Try to do this quick before that sets up again. Wow, we still got that resin soft. Alright, I'm not sure how I'm going to clamp it. It might be tape. And I might want a better tape than that yellow tape. That's going to probably be better. Let's see if we can get you to bend. Just a second ago I did. Alright, so we're going to have to... And this is the worst part, is I'm not really going to be able to see. I'm going to kind of have to... off of that. Yeah, here's the problem I thought I'd have. This tape ain't going to want to stick. With the stress of this. Putting this on the front, putting this on the back, and putting this underneath. I'm debating about putting this on the top. Plastic piece wanting to, or this, yeah, not going to be able to get a clamp in there. If I put it on later, then I can do all the detailing on this as a unit and then just simply slot it in. It doesn't have to go on right now. So I think we're going to hold off on that. Only because of the frustratingness of it. So let's get... Because some reason I've been noticing tape does not really want to stick to this model. When I was just marking up the the saucers. I noticed that. I have to get a little bit across here too. If I do this. The thing I don't like is I cannot see the part. Which is always a scary thing because I have no idea if I'm lined up from all the way down. There's no way to get anything to clamp all these curves. There's no way to really tell. And then how much am I oozing out? But we're going to just have to go with the gods and hope that worked. Or sit here and hold it ourselves. But my biggest scary thing is I have no idea if I landed in the right spots, you know, like I can't move it side to side, so I'm hoping that I'm in that spot. I'm going to hit it with some heat again just to help it bend in this shape. Well, I'm not feeling like a springiness anymore, so that's good. Then again, like the only thing that worries me is did these end in the right spot? I hope so. And I started here where it's supposed to be. I mean, we've got a little springiness there. So I'm going to sit here and just hold that. I got those on in the back there. The ones on the sides are curing on the pylons. And that will be it for this drive section. And we got the big saucer ones to do. But I'm going to sit here and hold this, and then when I come back, we'll reveal and see how it looks. Okay, so that piece glued down pretty good. I'm happy with that. I have a little lifting right there, but nothing major. And the epoxy is going to hold it down nice and tight, and I don't have to worry about it popping. So we can go in and fill in any gaps anywhere on any of these with a little perfect plastic putty and a wet Q-tip. Yeah, those look good. Those stay down really nice. And even these up here and those there look good. Awesome. And then I did this on the bottom saucer off camera. That came out all right. I noticed a little squeezing in the print here. That was the top, which would have been the last thing to get printed. It's a little bit on both of them, but we'll fix that. Blend these joints in, a little putty and a little filing. Make those edges. This front one here is pretty good. It's just maybe a little filling in between them. But all in all, it looks good. Now it's probably a little higher in height than the normal phasers on the Enterprise D. And I think he mentions that in the description of it, but I like it. The detail is far more superior than trying to do this with photo etch. It fits over the existing detail really nice. Seems a hair short there, but like I said, I'm going to go across all these with putty to make sure the seams are nice and filled. Oh, awesome. Now just to finish the top.